Hey, what's up? Coming to you live from my parents' house. We got episode 8 of the Changavi Aftershow. My Wi-Fi is shitty because fuck the internet and fuck Frontier Communications. But we still have a show. I really apologize if the quality does go in and out today. Some shit is just out of my control, and I had to record this show today because your boy doesn't have much time these days. So we got to get into it. Got a lot of topics, but let's be real here on the after show. We just go through and talk about random shit. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. So let's start it out. Let's start it out with our first topic of the day, identity. Oh, I know there's a big ass group of people out there that are like you're talking about identity? You're talking about identity? The topic that I am so uncomfortable with? Yeah, I am, because fuck that. No, here's the deal with identity. Here's where I'm just kind of not weirded out, but like it's confusing to me. I find it so ironic that people are so uncomfortable with talking about identity. They're so uncomfortable talking about, oh my God, my race, your gender, your identity. But in reality, it's yours. It's yours, right? You, whether you like it or not, that is your identity. I am a brown cisgender male. That is my identity. Those are things I could not control. I came out of my mother looking like a brown cis male who's straight. I may not have known that at the time, but now I can tell you I am heterosexual. These are right, like it doesn't make sense. These are things that are like so ingrained within us. And it doesn't add up in my head as to like why people are so uncomfortable talking about this stuff. It's really strange. I don't know. I bet other people have different perspectives about it. And, I'm sure like I maybe like someone who is non-cisgender and, is also a minority and is like is involved in a variety of these marginalized groups is like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You're a dude. Relax. And yeah, I am. But like, I don't know. I just don't understand like why a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about these things. Like, because they're taboo. Like like if I were to just like walk up to some random dude, right, like in downtown San Francisco tomorrow, and be like, "Bro, so do you think there's two genders?" He'd look at me and be like, "The fuck? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you think there's two genders or there's a lot of genders?" And like people are just like, "Oh, you can't be talking about that." Right? Race, same shit. It's like, oh, like, do you think that systemic racism exists? Like, keep your voice down, Anuj, please. Keep your voice down. Okay. We don't want to be talking about those things in society. Like, why? Why are we so uncomfortable with talking about things that, well, we cannot control? We are a part, whether you like it or not, you have a race. There is no single person on this planet that doesn't identify within a race. There's no single person on this planet that doesn't identify within like a particular sexuality, whether that be asexual, whether that be bisexual, pansexual, uh, heterosexual, homosexual, whatever that may be. You still identify within a box, right? Uh, and with gender, I guess like is there I guess with gender, there isn't necessarily like boxes, but you still identify within something. Like these are things that you consider to be a part of you, right? They are authentically and innately you. But at the end of the day, like people are so freaking uncomfortable with talking about it. It's so strange. It's so strange to me. I don't understand why. I don't like maybe people feel like it's a burden. People feel like, oh, like I don't want to explain like my race for the 18th time today. Oh, like I don't want to explain why I go by they them pronouns. I don't want like but it's people like I would say that there are people who are comfortable with talking about it and comfortable having conversations about their gender and their race and their sexuality and whatnot. But there are a lot of people out there that if I were to like go in public tomorrow and have a conversation about race or identity, people would tell me, And for those of you that are on Spotify, I give the little mom signal when it's like when you're talking about something and they're like, shh, keep your voice down. Keep your voice. I fucking hate that so much. I literally, I was the kid, like I've always been the kid with like the loud ass voice and just like screams everything. And so like I would get the little shh, honey, if you could keep your voice down. These are topics that we don't want to be talking about in public. Like people are gonna hear you. Like, I don't give a shit, dude. I have my own podcast at this point, so like everybody can see what I'm saying. So it doesn't even matter, right? Like I can just scream my opinions, or you can find me on the internet at the Changavi Show, available everywhere. Haha. But yeah, I hope that like I mean, I get there's always going to be taboos within society because a lot of people are just uncomfortable with talking about so many different things. Sex also being one of those things. Like, sex? You can't talk about sex in public. Like, shh. I don't know who's gonna hear. Like, Jesus, I don't know. There's a lot of taboos in society. I'm trying to break those because fuck that. Like, there shouldn't be taboos. We should be able to like talk about everything. But yeah, identity and discomfort. This is just something that's been on my mind. That like, it's ironic that identity is a part of who we are as a collective, as individuals. These are characteristics that we cannot control, but yet we're uncomfortable talking about those characteristics when brought up in political conversations, which is really funny to me. I don't know if it's funny to other people. If it's not, like, I guess it's not funny, but it's hilarious to me. It's freaking hilarious. But anyway, identity, just something to like pour over on. It was something I didn't want to put into the Changavi show itself because I really didn't have like scientific evidence or like a clean topic where I could just, like explain or like, try to break it down. But it was something that has been on my mind. And it's just an ironic thing that just crosses my head. Like, why do we worry about these things? But why do we like think about these things that we can't control? And why do we consider them to be taboo? It's interesting. It's interesting. Society is what makes these things taboo. But whatever. That don't matter. It don't matter because we got other things to talk about. And I want to talk about Emma Chamberlain for a second. Emma Chamberlain. There are probably people who are listening to this right now who are like, who the fuck is Emma Chamberlain? First of all, you should be asking yourself, why don't I know who Emma Chamberlain is? Because she is probably one of the most popular YouTubers on the face of planet Earth. She is, I think, 15 million subscribers. It's probably not the most when it comes to like a subscriber count, but like fan base runs massive. She's like a global fashion icon, been featured on Vogue magazine multiple times. Point is, she's extremely popular. And point is, I aspire to be Emma Chamberlain, hence the name My Creator Wife. I believe and I want to be Emma Chamberlain. Why? Why? Not like I don't want to be right. Okay, so let me explain why I want to be Emma Chamberlain because I think this is a very important distinction that I really want to make. I want to be Emma Chamberlain because of the fact that she just doesn't give a fuck. And I totally love that. I love that about her because she's literally 20 years old. She's a year younger than me. And she says what's on her mind and she makes YouTube vlogs that just were the epitome of like carelessness. And I don't give a fuck. And I want to be that. I want to be Emma Chamberlain so freaking bad. It's not even funny. Dude, I freaking wish I would be Emma Chamberlain. Like, just the way that she approaches a subject matter is so like intriguing to me. I just love it. Like, I don't know. Well, I guess a part of the reason I like Emma Chamberlain so much is because like I was probably amongst one of her first fans. I knew of her before like anybody in mainstream media knew who the hell she was. Because she's from here. She's from the Bay. She knows what the school culture is like. And I heard her talk about it on Call Her Daddy podcast this past week. And that's where this topic was inspired from because I listened to the whole podcast. I think there was 2 parts and they both came out simultaneous weeks. I listened to both. And it was really cool. I actually really appreciated and really enjoyed listening to kind of her perspective on things because she is kind of one of those people. I'd say she was Charlie D'Amelio before Charlie D'Amelio even knew she was Charlie D'Amelio, if that makes sense. Like she was just the biggest name in media for quite a while. And or on YouTube at least for quite a while. Like she was just huge. She popped off, uh, got to like 4 million subscribers like this within 9-10 months, and all of a sudden she was like dropping out of school and she ended up in LA, and she was just making vids, and she was doing amazing things. Like it was pretty cool. Like she was just living this immediate social media life, and then like it just all crashed. Like, or not all crashed. That's probably a bad way to describe it, but like it kind of like it kind of all caught up to her in a certain aspect. And she talks about like creative burnout and how you get to the top of something and you want to be the best, and it just all comes down. And it was interesting. It was interesting. I think Emma Chamberlain is kind of one of those people that I aspire to be, but like not, but also like I learn from her because she's kind of my age. She does a lot of she like approaches subject matters. She's not like a podcaster like me, right? She doesn't talk about issues or anything. She's like a vlogger, but she just approaches her YouTube videos like she's approaching life. It's just let me put a camera in front of my face when I'm just living my normal life, and it's so freaking hilarious. Especially her older videos. I'm not as familiar with her newer stuff, but her older videos were freaking hilarious. They were so funny. Um, I like that. I like when people are be able to be authentic in front of the camera and off the camera, right? And they're the same person. I've met people in life that are so good when the spotlight is on them, and they're fantastic and they're amazing orators and they're like great people when the camera's on. But when the camera's off, they're just like normal individuals. It's just like a turn on turn off switch. It feels so inauthentic. But with Emma Chamberlain, like you watch her YouTube videos, you listen to interviews. Like obviously I've never met her off camera. I haven't. I can't say that I've met her off camera. I would love to meet her off camera, but I've never met her. But in interviews and stuff like that, in my best educated opinion, she's just someone who doesn't like ever turn it off. Like that's just her. Like when you see her in front of the camera, like it's the ultimate Gen Z image, right? And I find it so funny because she kind of started this whole movement, especially amongst women, of like, oh, like no makeup, which was huge back then, especially like when she did it. Like she used to just like go out in like skin cream and like sweatpants and not dress up and just not give a fuck. And I love that. I love that. I love that so much because it's a good attitude to have in general, just in life. And I think like, and she was kind of one of the people that spawned that initially of just like not dressing up, not really caring, um, kind of going out and being yourself and being your authentic individual like self. And particularly for women, like she was a great role model for like teenage girls, especially like where we were growing up. Like it was cool. It was very, very cool. And I really did. I just love her because of that. But in terms of like her being like my creator wife, what do I mean by this? Like I want to be her in some aspects, in that like I want to not give a fuck. Right. I'm still at the point where like I don't give a fuck, but at the same time I kind of give a fuck, if that makes sense, right? Like I'm like 80-20 or like 90-10 of like I don't care, but also like someone can say something and it'll like infiltrate my cerebrum and my brain for like for like for like 4 hours, and I'll think about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like maybe what I did say was bad, or maybe what I did do is bad. I try not to think when when I post after shows in particular, because I just say stupid shit. And like I just try not to think, and I just put it up, and then I let my friends like comment back like, what did you say? Like, what is wrong with you? Are you a fucking dumbass? But like I like it. And I think Emma Chamberlain has that same attitude where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna like post whatever I want, not think about it. And she talks about that because she was like, the second I started having the tunnel vision, or like second I started opening it up and like thinking about all of the possibilities, like that's when I freaked out. And I think as a creator, you kind of just, you don't have to, you shouldn't think. You shouldn't think. You should just let the words come out. You should let the words flow and then see what happens. And obviously, like, I'm not saying like, go fucking say racial slurs or like, be a fucking asshole. Like, don't do that. Obviously within reason, but like, go be yourself. Just go say shit. Go swear, excessively cuss if you have to, you know, be like your true authentic self on camera. And I think it'll take you far. And as someone who like hasn't gotten that far, I shouldn't be giving advice. I feel like, okay, this is where like I should stop this particular topic. But Emma Chamberlain, my creator wife, like this is who I aspire to be in a lot of ways and shapes and forms. So thank you, Emma Chamberlain, for giving me your best. And the Call Her Daddy interview was really good. So if you guys want to go listen to that, definitely go check that out. Y'all know how much love I have for Alex Cooper too. Anyway, making a podcast for dummies. Okay. All right. Let's transition to the absolute like DIY version of like how do you make a podcast, Anuj? Okay. So this topic was inspired by someone who commented on one of my posts when I was very low of topics early last week and was like, what do I talk about? This week's so boring. There's nothing going on. Like I've talked about everything. And then, a bunch of shit ended up happening the latter half of the week, and I ended up being hashtag inspired. But this was one of the topics that was asked that I should potentially talk about on the Changavi show. And I thought about it, and I put it in the show for a second, and then I realized there was a lot of other stuff I wanted to talk about, and I kind of gave it the after show treatment and said I'd talk about it later. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about it later, and now is later. Now is later. So we're talking about it now. So this person basically asked me, like, how much did your microphone cost? How did you get your start? How did you, like, what was the inspiration? Like, how do you do this from a technical point of view? So let me explain to you real quick what I do. I really don't do like this is probably like I have one of the more low tech podcast setups of that I know of. Like I follow podcasters and shit on Instagram and they have beautiful, sexy setups with like soundboards and like able to like control their volume and like studio quality headphones. I'm not there yet. I'm a broke college kid in my parents' house that works minimum wage. So we can't afford that just yet. But this is what I do have. Okay, so let me explain to you like what my podcast setup is for a second. So I have this baby, this microphone right here. This I got in a set. So it was like there was like a sale on Amazon like September of last year. I don't know if it's still there, but it was like a beginner's podcast set. And I was intrigued by it. I was like, I was just shopping around on Amazon as one does. And I realized like, oh crap, like maybe I should make this or like maybe I should, try and see like what I can do. And I ended up purchasing it and it was like $120 and I ended up buying it with like all my birthday stuff from last year or from the year before and just purchased this microphone set for like $100-something and it was this microphone and this what else came with it? It was like the microphone and it came with the stand and then it came with a bunch of other equipment. It came with headphones which I have broken. It's been a year. I've broken those headphones. But yeah, so it came with a lot of that stuff and it was like your kind of basic podcast setup. Like the mic works good, like if you notice like the sound is pretty good, but honestly, like the fuck ups with the audio on StreamYard, which is the software that I use, are because of the fact that I just forget to switch the setting and I'm a fucking idiot. But anyway, so the microphone cost me about $110, $120, something like that. And then I was originally using like my FaceTime camera on my laptop. So it was just the web camera off the laptop. And then I started realizing like, holy shit, this is the worst freaking camera of all time. It's crusty AF. It's disgusting. Like you don't get a good view. And then I was like, okay, like I need to invest in a better camera. So I bought a web camera online. And so I bought one web camera for like $25 and it busted in like 2 weeks. It was terrible. It was still like the same level of quality that I was getting, at least when I exported. And so then I was like, okay, let me go buy another one. So I bought another one. I bought the camera that I have now. It was like $35 on Amazon. And it's pretty good. It works well. Sometimes when the fucking Wi-Fi sucks, like right now, it doesn't work well. So, it's a very hit or miss camera. It's like it's connected to like Wi-Fi and shit, and it's awful. And StreamYard can also be very shit ass at times as well. And then that's the last thing, which is StreamYard. StreamYard is like the software that I use to kind of like upload, like to record all my shows. So you get like the banner on the bottom and also like keep the cloud storage. So I get like 50 hours of storage and I pay like $25 a month for StreamYard. But I use it a lot, so it ends up being like pretty worth it. in my opinion. And so you can like export it off of StreamYard and edit it. And then I edit using iMovie, which is free using your computer. So that's pretty much like the basic breakdown of what I use for my podcast. In terms of like things that I want to get in the future, I think I might upgrade my mic very soon. I think this beginner mic is like starting to wear out a little bit. So I might get a Blue Yeti. That's what I've been looking at as a potential microphone. For those of you that don't know, like a Blue Yeti is like the elite podcast mic. It's like what the goats use. I'll probably get a new web camera. I want to get a Logitech. Those are like $60. So I'm going to probably do that. And then I'm thinking about getting a new laptop because this laptop has been really worn thin recently. Has not been working for your boy. The space is so limited and it also dies in 5 minutes. So that's fucking tough. So I might get a new laptop. So I'm probably going to do like a whole equipment overhaul and just change everything. But we'll see. We'll see. It's going to take time. And that's what I'm saying. Like incrementally, I'm going to have to get there. But I think for right now, I'm in a good place, like in terms of equipment and in terms of like my setup, like it all works. But I think for the future, I definitely like the technical side is just something I'm always learning. I may have to get a soundboard and all that stuff in the future, but that's all like, you build your setup up over time. Like you think, like I thought when I first got my podcast set up that was going to be it. Like this was a heavenly setup. Like I figured it out, but nah, you add different things over time. You try different stuff, you subtract. Like I tried LED lights for a while. Those didn't work out. So the podcast setup is a work in progress, but in terms of like setting up if you want to start your own podcast, dude, it's so easy. You go to anchor.com. This is what I did. Literally go to anchor.com, write the name of your podcast, come up with the cover picture, write the synopsis, release your episodes. You can record right off the app if you want to. For me, like I used to use Zoom when I'd interview people, but now I pay for StreamYard. So I have that. It's much more like privacy safe. It's the quality is way better and stuff like that. So if I ever go back to interviews, I will also use StreamYard as well. That's definitely an option that I do have. But yeah, that's kind of how you start a podcast for dummies. Like it's, the microphone costs maybe 110. They run you the mics. Like if you want your sound to sound real good, like they'll run you from anywhere from like $100 to like $400. The Blue Yeti, which is the one I want to get, is like 300. So I got to figure that out. And then, what are the other things like headphones? I used to use headphones. Now I don't really use headphones, to be honest. I don't need it. So, and then like the microphone. That's the other thing. Or sorry, the web camera. That's the other thing. And I've noticed that a lot of people like actually film like the best of the best podcasts. Like I'm talking like quality wise, film their podcasts on actual DSLR cameras, which will run you anywhere from like $700 to like $1,500. I do not have DSLR cameras, and neither do I have the money to get DSLR cameras as of this moment. So I'm gonna have to like stick with like pretty bad webcams for now, but I'm gonna definitely like look to upgrade for the future. And maybe one day we'll get those DSLRs running and we'll get like a full studio and all that stuff. That would be cool. When I get that studio running, that's cool. But I like the aesthetic of like working in your childhood bedroom. I think that's an underrated aesthetic for sure. But you got to start somewhere, and I think eventually, like I will get to the point where I am comfortable with my setup. But for now, like it does the job. It does the trick. And I'm looking at ring lights too for TikTok, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's pretty much like the technical side of like what I'm working with and like how I'm trying to like work on incrementally upgrading because it's tough. It's tough out here. Okay, can we talk about Cobra Kai for a second? Fuck technical stuff on the podcast. Like that's if it like someone asked me like, okay, you love obviously creating content and you love talking shit to people. What is the least favorite thing you have to do on the podcast? It's all the technical stuff. I fucking hate this. Like I just wish you could talk and like everything would just magically do itself. But nah, you got to figure out thumbnails. You got to figure out cameras, cover art. Like there's so much stuff. There's just so much little things that like probably the viewers don't think about that in reality, like you have to do. But we're going to talk about Cobra Kai because I'm sick and tired of talking about my technical shit. Cobra Kai, dude, this show, okay, it's like a guilty pleasure show because it's really stupid, but also it's like so freaking good. Let me explain what I mean. Like I love the show. Like I actually like really like the premise of it. Like it's from the loser's perspective, right? It's like, oh, Johnny Lawrence lost the All Valley Championship. Let's see what he's been up to for the last few years. Boom, that's the premise of the show, right? Like it's a Karate Kid spinoff. Obviously, Ralph Macchio and fucking the LaRussos come, later in the show and all of that. So it ends up working out and it ends up being like a Karate Kid sort of spinoff. But what I like about this show, and I think not enough shows do this, or like things where like it's the perspective from the losing team, right? So like it's the perspective from the losing player. And I fuck with that. Like I think that's a perspective that hasn't necessarily been accomplished in mainstream media, if I would say so myself. Effectively at least, or like to a grand extreme. I don't think it has. And I think with this, like the way that it worked, like is just it's so like so fun to watch. It's a guilty pleasure show in that like I think it's made for kids mostly, and it's made for kids, but it's also made for the adults watching with the kids so that everybody kind of has something to watch for, right? Because you have a lot of these like old old Karate Kid characters mixed with like, a new age sort of plot line because you have all their kids and, the new kids and all of this stuff and all the various things. So it is interesting. The fight scenes are fun. It's just like classic action, just like beating each other up, which is cool. Like I fuck with all the martial arts and all that. So that's fun. And as someone who did watch a lot of Karate Kid, not like a lot of Karate Kid, but a lot of the Karate Kid like OG movies and the original stuff growing up, it's definitely cool to like see the characters come back and all that. Big fan. So it's like I wish more shows would do that. Like maybe we can. I want to see like more spin-offs off of like iconic franchises from the 80s. Like what would you give to see like a Breakfast Club TV show 30 years later? I think that would be so freaking funny. It's a movie that's like looked at as like one of the greatest films. Look, one of the greatest films of the 80s, like The Breakfast Club. Everyone knows what it is. John Hughes. People call it boring, whatever. They're fucking liars. The Breakfast Club is a great movie, and y'all are idiots. But The Breakfast Club, yeah, like I wish there was like a modern day TV show spinoff of The Breakfast Club. Like, how are they all doing? They're kids, right? Like shit like that. Like Saved by the Bell had a spinoff, which was really fun. At least I heard on Peacock. I will definitely go check that out. I like the 80s sort of spinoff vibe. And Cobra Kai kind of has that retro aesthetic to it, which is really cool because it's set in the modern day, but it definitely has like that 80s vibe to it. They still go to like the drive-in movies and like, it's still in the strip mall complex and like all that. It still has like it has a modern day vibe to it, but it also has that retro feel as well, which is very cool. And I enjoy that tremendously. So Cobra Kai, definitely a guilty pleasure show of mine. Cobra Kai, strike first. Like I could definitely do some like martial arts right now, bro. I was like, dude, oh, I love it. I love it. It's so fun. It's just like a kid. It's like it makes you feel like a kid again, I guess, watching the show, and I think that's what I like about it the most. But yeah, I fuck with Cobra Kai heavy. It's a very good show. So let's move on because I don't have much else to say about Cobra Kai, and my fucking internet is so bad. It's so bad. Honey, it's so bad. God damn it. Fucking improve. I hate Frontier Communications. If you work for Frontier Communications, you're listening to this podcast, you're canceled. Traveling. Oh, Anuj, what do you want to talk about traveling? You don't go anywhere. I don't. You're right. You are right. I do not go anywhere. What do I've been thinking about traveling recently. Not in like the sense of like, oh my god, like I'm gonna go to London, Paris, New York, and LA. No, that's not like what I'm trying to do. But like, I think I'm thinking about traveling in the sense of like, I was on TikTok the other day, of course, where every inspirational story begins, and I was, what do you call? I was scrolling through TikTok and I found this guy. And he was talking about how traveling to different cities can expand your mind and you can, exit your bubble and going to different cities is like a really good thing. And totally, it is like 100%. Like, I didn't disagree with anything he had to say. But the more I think about it, like, the more I'm just like, huh, why would I travel to different? No, I'm kidding. But like, why? I don't know. I was thinking about it. I was like, why would I travel to different cities when I live in the best city of all? Like when I live in like the best place of all time. Like I already know what the best place is. I don't need to go to fucking Yakutsk, Russia, in -5 degree weather and find out what that is. I can watch the freaking videos for that. No, but I mean, I get it. Like I get the whole aesthetic of traveling, and I get why that's important. It's definitely something like I want to do a little bit more of. There's like I grew up in a family which emphasized traveling. Like that was like our thing, going like on vacations, making sure we saw everything, waking up really early to like see all the sites in Europe and like all of this stuff. Like I'm blessed that I grew up in a family that like wanted to travel the world, and that was one of their like biggest priorities growing up for me, at least as a kid. But I feel like now we stopped traveling. We didn't stop traveling for a while, but now it's like I don't know, like I want to travel, but at the same time, like it's just I don't know. I'm not like big into that type of but I get it though. Like I really do like want to go explore different cities in America, because America is actually like coincidentally like my parents have taken us all, I've taken us through Europe and different countries and all that, but we've never really explored America. Like I've never really seen, I really want to go back to certain cities. Like I have cousins that live in Florida, so we went to Florida, but like we never really like I never really got to explore Miami or like Orlando or any of that. Like I've never really gotten to explore Austin and Texas or like Chicago. Like I've never been to Chicago. I've never been to New York. Like I've been to New York City once. I was 5 years old, but I don't remember any of it. Right. So like stuff like that. I've never been to Philly. Like I went to Boston once when I was in 8th grade. I loved it. I want to go back. Like Portland, never been. Seattle, never been. Like different random Salt Lake City, like just Nashville. Like these are all the cities that like I've always wanted to go visit, but like I've never been. Like I've never really explored Arizona that deeply too. Like I was a little kid when we did. So I definitely there's a lot of places I want to like go back to, and like I think within America, definitely want to go see. It seems like, I'm at the perfect age to do it. I'm 21 years old. Just maybe, uh going traveling, maybe going to explore my mindset. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do it, because like honestly, I'm like a pretty homebodied person. I'm not someone who like really fucks with like, traveling and like going out and all that stuff. I'm very into like the whole vibe of just being at home, but I see the appeal, I guess, of traveling, and I might do it. I might. No promises. No fucking promises. I hate the internet, dude. I'm so sorry if this fucking internet is bad, or the fucking quality of this is shit. Yeah, these are the stresses that you live with fucking Frontier Communications. God damn it. City reclamation. What is this, Anuj? What the frick are you talking about? City reclamation. This is something that like popped into my head, or not popped into my head, but came to my attention recently, with the whole idea of what's it called? With the Russia Ukraine stuff, because I was noticing that like a lot of different media outlets spelled Kiev differently, and I was like, what does this have to do with anything? Like why are they spelling Kiev so weirdly? Like why is this spelled differently compared to maybe something like compared to like another history textbook which is spelling Kiev a different way? So there's two different spellings of Kiev. Let me make this very clear. Kiev is the capital of Ukraine, for those of you that don't know. So Kiev is spelled in some books as Kiev, and then in other books it's spelled as Kyiv. So I was like, what are like articles and stuff? So I was like, why is it spelled two different ways? Like, are people just making a typo? Like, what's going on? And Wikipedia has it spelled the latter spelling that I mentioned, the Kyiv. And so I was like, what is going on? Like, what is city reclamation? Like, what is this whole thing? Like, this makes no sense. And so I was doing some more research, and I realized is there's a lot of cities in the world that had different spellings and had different pronunciations. But a lot of people went, and obviously, with the history of the world, there was a lot of colonization, a lot of countries that went and took over specific regions and changed the spelling of the cities for their own accessibility. And so I've noticed that there's a lot of cities throughout the world that are resorting back to kind of their ancient pronunciations, their normal pronunciations of the city, right? So like I'll give you an example. Like I saw it in obviously in Kiev, like I mentioned, but in Bangalore, it's the same thing. So where the city my parents grew up. So the original spelling of Bangalore is BAN, or sorry, the original, like so. Okay, let me start over. Let me backtrack. The city of Bangalore was originally named Bengaluru. That was the name of the city. Um, I think way back in ancient times and back in, in the days of like the Indian kingdoms and all that, it was named Bengaluru. But but when the British came in, they named it Bangalore. So they changed the name of the city, and the same thing happened in Bombay. So it was originally called Mumbai. That was the name of the city, and then it got replaced by the British to Bombay, and then I think that it's kind of become interchangeable at this point between Mumbai and Bombay. That everybody kind of knows, both and chooses to use each one interchangeably. And it's kind of the same thing with Bangalore and Bengaluru. But like I feel like, but in Bangalore, like the official legal name of the city is Bengaluru now because they went back and sort of tried to reclaim their past rather than have the colonizers. And so I saw the same thing happen in Kiev, where like the Ukrainians are like, nah. So basically, what it is like the Russian pronunciation is Kiev, like I said before, like the one you're probably used to seeing, Kiev. But Ukrainians were like, fuck the Russians, we're gonna spell it Kyiv because that's part of our Ukrainian language and that's our heritage, and we're gonna call the city what we, as Ukrainians call the city, and like that's so cool. It's cool, but like it's also just shows that like there are probably so many cities around here and just in the world that are that go by different names because someone took it over and it's just been known as that city, right? um I think in America what's interesting is that like particularly in California there's so much like Mexican and Spanish influence that like I feel like San Francisco and Los Angeles and Santa Clara and all of these different cities are just, they kind of have had the original names for quite a while. So I feel like there hasn't necessarily been that, but maybe in other countries where like, British influence, like I said, in India, there are a lot of cities that are still named after um, British or that the British gave names to that have stuck because they've become kind of the norm because the English language is the norm, I guess. So, and also they colonized. So colonialism sucks. In conclusion, but it's very interesting to hear about like different cities like reclaiming their names now that we're kind of 200 300 years removed from history. It was just kind of an interesting fact that I came across in my Russia Ukraine research and kind of applied it to different aspects that I was seeing within the world as well. So that was pretty cool. Um, Listen, I've always said that I have never wanted to work corporate, and I know that was a terrible transition. But I found honestly, there's probably I do want to work corporate to a certain extent. I think there is this particular company that I would love to work for personally. I don't know about all y'all, but there's one company out there that I would sacrifice my personal liberties to go work corporate for. And let me tell you what that company is. I don't even consider them to be corporate. I feel like they're a YouTube channel. So it would be like working for their media company because that's what they're called. I would work for Jubilee. Jubilee is my absolute dream job. If I had to work one corporate job to before this podcast gets off the ground, it would be Jubilee. Let me explain what Jubilee is. I don't know if you've seen them on YouTube. They kind of do videos where it's like bringing people out of their comfort zone and also like bringing people to have like conversations about particular divisive issues. So like they'll be like anti-vaxxers versus vaxxers, and we're going to bring them all into one room and talk about specific questions and see who agrees and disagrees and have open discourse. And that series is called Middle Ground. And basically, that's what inspired me to do a podcast, was because I love those episodes and I love the fact that people could disagree on very highly politicized and highly political issues, and still like at the end like come together and have a conversation and be civil. It's not always like yelling matches and screaming matches at one another, which leads to like storming out of the room and people's mental health often being sacrificed. Like it was actually a good conversation. It was solid. It was like solid shit, and I was like, oh damn, that's what I want to do. And so that's what I did, and that's the company I would 100% go back and work for now. So I'm I think they just do really cool shit. And they do other series as well that's like related to like personal development and like identity and like reducing taboos within society and like educated conversation and just like, making the world a more positive place while also like acknowledging the fact that we have problems and, being open to the fact of disagreement. Like I fuck with that. That is totally my vibe. And it's not like one of those scripted, like CNN used to have a show called Crossfire back in the day where they'd bring in, like, I think when Tucker Carlson actually used to work for CNN. Fun fact, Tucker Carlson used to work for CNN. They used to bring in Tucker Carlson, and there was another guy on the left, I forget who, it might have been Chris Matthews, who used to just go back and forth about political issues, and it would just be like a discourse of like, no, like it was kind of the OG evolution of like what talking head TV shows ended up becoming, right? So like, Crossfire eventually turned into like Tucker Carlson went to Fox and just made like a full-on right show. And then, CNN has obviously had shows like Don Lemon Tonight, which are hyper partisan, and the Rachel Maddow show on MSNBC, which are also hyper partisan left. So there are, certain things like there were certain things back in the day where like people would have that intellectual. I don't know if Tucker Carlson and like that whole show was intellectual, but it was that kind of idea. Jubilee is like, yeah, we can do that, and we can make it intellectual, and we can make it like actually just real people talking about their grievances. There's a beautiful episode that they did where they went to the West Bank in Israel, and they brought in like 5 Israelis and they brought in 5 Palestinians, and they had them sit and eat dinner and talk about the Israel-Palestine crisis, like right in the middle. Like it was located, like the location was like right in the middle of like Israel and Palestine. Like and it's a beautiful conversation. Like all of them just kind of air out their struggles and air out like how they feel about the specific issues and all of that. And it's really, really nicely done. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it already. Very good episode. And it was episodes like that were like, wow, like you can actually go to Jubilee, you can work for Jubilee and make episodes like that and like travel and go and talk to the people and have these conversations that are actually beneficial to a mass platform of people. Jubilee Media has 7 million subscribers or something. Like I was like, what? So that's the job. That's the job that like if they were like, oh, work admin for us, I'd be like, yeah, I'd do it. Fuck it. That's the one corporate job I'd take. And if Jubilee Media happens to be listening to this right now, I'm going to pitch you something. I'm going to pitch you myself because I would love to work for you. I have my own podcast. I try to be as objective as possible while also having fun and swearing and having a good time and vibing. You can ask the people that view my podcast. I try to be as authentic as possible. I think I'm pretty real. I think I break down issues in a really good way. And I think like I would just love to work for you guys because I think I provide a really good perspective because I am in the middle on a lot of things and I would love to work for you. So Jubilee Media, if you guys are hiring, please, you know where to hit my line. I may not have, the experience at retail companies. I may not have a corporate communications internship at Apple. I may not have any of those things, but I've created content. I put it up on YouTube. I've hustled my ass off. Please allow me to work for you. Please, Jubilee, work for you. Okay, I'm not going to, fuck this interview any further. So that is the one company I would work for besides myself because, I want to remain self-employed for a long time, but, we'll see. Okay, we got a couple more topics and then we're done. Listen, the king of nuance TikTok. That was my tagline for the last show. I've gotten a lot of comments on it, and people were like, huh, interesting. I want to make this very clear. This is my throne. This is my studio. I'm the motherfucking king of nuance TikTok. That is it. I am the king. No one else has come up with the name. No one else is involved with nuance TikTok yet. So I'm claiming the space. I am the CEO of nuanced TikTok. There is no other person that can tell me otherwise. This app, like I said, I went on a rant about Marcus Diapola last time. Diapola, I don't know how to say his last name. Sorry, Marcus. I went on a whole rant about how he just recites CNN headlines and they just zoom into his face and it's really just a very ugly sight. It's not pretty. That's all he does. He recites headlines. He doesn't provide any analysis. He doesn't provide any resources to go for more information. None of that. I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of it. Obviously the Aftershow is not the show that you want to go cite in your research paper, but I wouldn't mind if you cited the Changavi show. I think I do a pretty good job of cataloging information and providing a pretty good argument. Nuance TikTok doesn't exist yet, but I'm here to bring the nuance. I'm here to bring the gray area because here's the fact. if you want to actually look at issues objectively, there is no right or wrong. Like, it is very rare that there is a black and white. There are issues where there is a black and white, but that's probably about 2% of issues in the world. 98% of the issues that you see politically, that you see worldwide, have a complete gray area. Not like 97, 98% of issues. There are issues that are just like, okay, like this dude is just a fucking horrible person, or like this dude is just, needs to be put to death. Like, Osama bin Laden is a bad person. There's no gray area there. Okay. Systemic racism exists in America. In my opinion, no gray area. I think it's pretty clear that it has existed. There's proof everywhere. You can look it up. It's not a theory. It's not, some lies fabricated by the government. Those are two things that, like, I'm like, all right, there's no gray area. But a lot of issues there is. Death penalty, gray area. Taxation, gray area. Abortion, gray area to an extent. Like, there are quite a few issues. Most issues have a gray area where there is a compromise in between both parties where the answer kind of lies. There's no way that people, and like, this is the problem with the way that people think in society, particularly in Gen Z and social media. Social media, what gets the most clicks are the things that provide the most controversial takes. That's what I've noticed too. When I actually like go out on a limb and provide my take on a certain issue, that's when I get hits. That's when I get clicks. The Marcus Diapola episode on TikTok, boom, blew up. Why? Because I was ranting about him. That's the reason why it went so viral. But I do shows where I talk about like, the Russia-Ukraine crisis, looking at it from Russians' perspective and looking at it from the Ukrainian perspective and seeing like where the truth really lies. That doesn't get any views because no one gives a fuck. If I was like, Russia's going to cause World War III, 900 views on TikTok. That's how it works. That's how it works. Social media encourages black and white thinking. But there is hope because social media is a free platform. And no matter what, they can't ban me from posting my shit, because I don't break the rules. I don't say racial slurs. I'm not, showing nudity. So I can be the king of nuanced TikTok because there is no nuanced TikTok yet. But let's form that community. Let's form a community where we have a lot of like-minded people that come together and think objectively about issues and see that there's a lot of gray area when it comes to the world. And it's not just, oh, they're right and they're wrong, because of where you get your news or who your friend or your scientist friend or whatever biased shit you're looking at. Let's be nuanced. Let's be nuanced. Let's look at an issue and you can have an opinion. I'm not saying like I have an opinion on everything. There's a reason I have this after show. I talk a lot of shit here. Totally, 100%. You are correct. But here's the thing. I may have an opinion, but I acknowledge the other side, and you can entertain ideas without agreeing with them. I do. I do it all the time. And so that is the nuanced TikTok section of TikTok. So for those of you that are seeing this on your For You page, I'm already acting like I'm going to edit this and put it on TikTok. I probably will. Welcome to Nuanced TikTok. I'm the king. I'm the CEO, bitch. Sup. That was pretty good, wasn't it? That was pretty good. Come on. Give me that. That was good. Anyway. Speaking of being the king of nuanced TikTok, let's get into my unhealthy levels of confidence. Yeah, I've noticed something about myself. In life, for those of you that have met me in real life, I'm like one of the least confident people. This was like a huge issue of mine in high school. I had zero self-confidence in myself. I had zero self-belief. I thought I would just fuck up everything I touched. That was truly like one of my biggest downfalls, I think, and why I didn't advance further in high school. I have like, I think in life, I'm pretty awkward. I'm pretty like self-deprecating. I don't like to, promote myself. I don't like self-promotion. I don't like being, super uber confident and, bragging. Like, I've always hated that. I'm very, very, like, I like to think I'm like a relatively humble person. I'm not like I'm not going to rub it in your face. Like, oh, I have this. Oh, I have that, right? Like, I'm not that person. There's one thing I'm confident about in this world. I've mentioned it a couple times, and I just feel like I need to keep mentioning it because I have unhealthy levels of confidence. If I had this amount of confidence in everything in life, society would call me a douchebag. But I have one thing that I'm so supremely confident about that it is not even funny. It is not even funny. I am going to be when it is all said and done, when I'm sitting there at 70 years old, let me tell you one thing. I'm going to tell everybody this. I am going to be one of the most successful internet content creators out there. I don't care if that's on the record. It is. I'm going to be one of the most successful creators. I already know it. I have a feeling. I know it. My gut's been telling me for years. I know I'm going to be a fucking internet personality, and I know I'm going to be a big deal. I know. I just know. It may take 40 years. It may take 67 years for me to get there. But I know one day I'm going to be fucking relevant. One day, they're going to be talking about me. I'm going to be the pop culture section. I know it. I know it because my show, no one's doing anything like this. They are, but it's weird. It's like Joe Budden-esque, right? It's filled with all of these different things. It's got a music bias to it. It's got a sports bias to it. Nah, fam. I am, and I will be, a relevant content creator in this industry. I don't care. I have unhealthy levels of confidence about this. Every time I step on this mic, I have like that J. Cole effect. I have that like Marshall Mathers effect when I step on the mic. I think I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest podcaster to ever live. I may say some out of pocket shit. I may be outlandish. I may be weird. I may have zero freaking ideas to like what I'm doing, but I know I'm great. I know I'm really fucking good at this. And I know that I have a feeling that I'm just going to be the best. I will be the best. And I will be the relevant. I will be a relevant content creator. I'm a goat when it comes to podcasting. Like I say this with like a straight face. I'm straight up. I'm being straight up. I am, and I will be a successful and relevant content creator one day. They're gonna be talking about me, not about fucking Jennifer Rihanna's baby. Nah, it's gonna be about me. It's gonna be about me. I know it. I mean, maybe like People Magazine won't be reporting about me or whatever, but like people are gonna be talking about me. My opinion's gonna matter. It's gonna matter. People are gonna listen to me. I already know it. I may have 2 listeners now, but it's gonna be 200 one day. It's going to be 2,000. It's going to grow. It may take 97 years, but it'll happen. It'll happen. I have unhealthy levels of confidence. And this is not just the after show talking. Nah. I know it. I may have internet problems. Frontier Communications may stop your boy multiple times. It may make my shit look terrible. People on TikTok may say I film on a potato. Fuck that. I'm going to make it one day. Y'all are going to see. Oh, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited. I am so motherfucking excited. Y'all get ready because this is about to get real. Like I said, this is like my inner confidence coming out about this particular subject. In life, I don't know where I'm going to be money-wise. I don't know where I'm going to be life-wise. I don't know if I'm ever going to have a relationship in my life. I don't know if I'm ever going to have friends, more than like 3. Right? That's so many things I'm so unconfident about. But the one thing I'm extremely confident about, I'm going to make it in this industry. I know it. Might be in 97 years. Might be in 2 years. Might be tomorrow. But the Changavi show? Yeah, it's coming for you, Joe. Rogan, I'm coming for you. Just know it. Okay, we're going to finish on one more topic and get out of here because I am getting too unhealthily. Why is it not clicking? Okay, there we go. My dream position in sports. I feel like everybody's got this dream of like, oh, I want to be like, if I were to ever like play sports or like ever be a part of a sporting team, like this is what I want to do. Let me tell you what my dream position of all time in sports is to be and will be for the rest of my life. I want to be a quarterback. I would love to be a quarterback. That's the dream. If I can ever be QB1, if I was ever athletically talented and ever like worked hard enough and ever actually like really wanted to be a quarterback, like I wanted to be a quarterback. I want to be a quarterback. Like that's my goal. Like I want to be a quarterback. Quarterback is the best position in all of sports. I don't care if you're Steph Curry and you're a point guard on the basketball team. I don't care if you're a pitcher in the MLB. Being a quarterback is goated. It is the best, single-handedly the best position to be in all of sport. I don't care. You have all the decisions, all the pressure is on you, but at the same time, you get all the attention. You are the player that controls the game the most. You control an offense. You control the team, right? On defense, like there's so many moving parts. Yeah, you have your Mike linebacker who like yells out the coverage that the defensive coordinator wants you to do, but like you're not controlling the team. The quarterback literally single-handedly may control the outcome of a football game. That is like the dream position to be in. You control your own destiny. You are the quarterback. Yeah, you may get hella scrutinized, but it's the best position to be. It is the best position, and it's just so fun. Like I just love watching quarterbacks. I think quarterback is just like so much fun to be a part of, to be and also to just be a part of. It's super cool. So I love QBs, and that's the dream position I would want to be if I ever have a child and they're interested in playing football. Which I mean, that'll be a whole conversation. I feel like at that point with all the research coming out and CTE and all that. But if I ever had a kid, they're playing quarterback. They're playing quarterback, 100%, and that's a fact. Like the quarterback is the best quarterback. Like if they ever want to play football, they're playing quarterback. Quarterback is the best position to play. Why would you play fucking running back? Running back sucks. You just run the ball and you're just out there like a free deer getting hit by all the fucking lions and hyenas. At least do the hitting, right? Like being a D lineman's cool. Being a fucking like corner's cool, I guess, right? Like, but quarterback, that's where it's at. I'm telling you, that's my dream position. You give me a point guard in sport. You give me a point guard in the NBA. You give me a fucking pitcher in the MLB. You give me a goalie in ice hockey. You give me the quarterback in football. That's what I want to be. I want to be the quarterback. All right. Anuj has a lot of dreams, but probably none of those are going to get accomplished except the podcast. I think that is the one thing I have supreme confidence in. I probably will never be a quarterback because I can't throw the ball more than 20 yards. But that's it for the Changavi Aftershow. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate every single one of you. 55 minutes on the dot. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys like the show, please feel free to like and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, feel free to hit that follow button. If you're on Apple Podcasts, feel free to leave me a review or any other podcasting app. I appreciate all the 5-star reviews. I appreciate the 1-star reviews. Give me your advice as to like why I'm bad or why I'm fake news. So, you know, I'm still growing, still trying to learn. I'm not saying that like I'm going to be, you know, internet sensation tomorrow, but at some point, maybe, at some point, yes. Anyway, that's all I have. Appreciate all of you guys. This is me, Anuj Changavi, coming to you live once again from his parents' house here in the Bay Area. I'm going to enjoy some beautiful weather outside today. Signing off. I love everybody out there. Thank you guys for listening to the very end. Y'all are the most appreciated. People who left at the 20-minute mark, fuck you. No, I'm kidding. I don't hate you. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Appreciate every single one of you. And we'll see you soon with another Changavi show. All right, guys. Peace.